Hey everyone, I'm Nate.
And I'm Abby.
And just a second, this
He comes running.
is Popeye. He heard the intro. And we are the TheRcSaylors. Good job, little buddy. In this video, I wanted to show you guys my new goggles, the Quanum V2 Pro. This is a pretty new upgrade to the Quanum series of goggles. And thanks to a lot of feedback that I've gotten on my channel, I've got some new setups in this new receiver, some different antennas going on here, and I wanted to talk about the highlights, the best points about the Pro versus the V2 goggles, so that you guys know the major differences. And I know that the goggles themselves are on sale right now on Hobby King, and you can get the goggles, a receiver, a battery, everything that you need to get your FPV going for under $100 right now. I do have a slightly more expensive receiver in mine. I have a diversity receiver going, but you can get a very nice setup of FPV goggles that do work with glasses for under $100. So I'm going to have all the links to everything that I'm talking about in this video in the description box below. So if you want to check that out, just click the links. Not making a penny on any of those. Just check them out. Build it yourself. This is extremely easy to do, and I want to take you through everything here, how to do this. First, I want to talk about the major differences between the V2 Pro and the standard V2 goggles. This actually feels heavier, just me holding it right here like this, because I have a lot more wiring going on the bottom, and on this guy there's way less wiring. Even with my dual antennas there, it's still lighter. I'm using a smaller battery too. Some of the biggest differences, initially, the V2 Pro, the red here, and the new one is a little bit longer. The sleeve is slightly longer on this one. It is more comfortable. The foam is it's a bit more stretchy. It's just more comfortable, I think. Really big here are the extra little containers or pouches on the goggles. You now have one on the back of your head for your battery, which is nice. Even though I'm using a super small battery, having that battery on the back helps kind of counterbalance the weight. That's a big deal when you're wearing these for, let's say, like 10 flights or something. You wear them over an hour, you'll really start to feel that difference later into that. Now, not only do you have a more comfortable head strap, you have adjustable head strap on the top and the sides, because those are now Velcro. The old ones did not have an adjustable top, only the sides, and it was kind of like just a strap that was a bit more inconvenient to adjust. These are just super quick and easy. It's just Velcro, which is very nice. The older V2 goggles had a Frenzel lens, which is a plastic lens that has little lines throughout it that the lines help magnify what you're seeing, and it is a little distracting to the flying experience. These are now an acrylic lens without the Frenzel lines in them. So it's much more immersive, much more clear. It basically feels like you're going from standard definition to high definition. Just looking through that lens makes a big difference. So you have some massive differences there just between the old V2 and the V2 Pro goggles. Now, if you're new to my channel, I'll give you guys a quick little update and tell you that I've been documenting, basically, through my videos on the YouTube channel, my FPV experience from the ground up. From not knowing anything to the point that I am now, which is still very little in the grand scheme of things. So if you're new to FPV and you're wanting to follow along my experience with FPV, then I'd love to invite you along. Please subscribe to the channel, do all kinds of reviews, have a lot of good fun. And the rest of this video, I want to basically talk about the build of this and just my personal choices that I have going on here, and just the improvements that I've made from the V2 to the V2 Pro goggles. Now, I'm using a Quanum diversity receiver and a circular polarized antenna with a patch antenna. I do need to bend those out a bit so I get a better signal, and then I'm just using a really small battery here, but I absolutely love it. This is a 1500 milliamp 7.4 volt LiPo battery, and I have it set at a 6 volt cutoff on my receiver. And it's just so clean with all the wiring. I'm going to show you guys how to build this and have the same clean setup with only the links that I have provided in the description box below. First and foremost, what you'll need is the Quantum V2 Pro goggles themselves. I'll get everything out of the box and lay it out in front here so you can see everything that comes inside. I'll have that in the description box below for you. I'm flying with this Quantum diversity receiver. This is going to allow me to have 2 antennas. It's going to choose the strongest signal coming from the different antennas that I have, the patch and the circular polarized. You can fly just fine the way it is in the box. It comes with 2 the standard little straight antennas. It works just fine, but you'll probably get a better flight experience with those. So you can always get this and then upgrade later. So I'm showing you the things that you'll absolutely need, and there is a cheaper receiver you can use. You don't have to use the diversity, so check that guy out too. You'll need a battery to fly. I'll have this linked for you in the description box. It's like a little $9 battery. I got a few of them because Abby's going to be flying FPV too. I have some AMWay circular polarized antennas. I actually need to get the blue guys. These are the female port, and my receiver is a female port too. So it's easy to make mistakes in this hobby. I have the wrong guys. I'm going to give you guys the right link for that. You learn from your mistakes in this hobby, at least I do. I've got an AMWay patch antenna. This is to give me more of a directional signal, kind of longer range in one direction. And for some fun, because Abby's going to be flying FPV too, see, I built my goggles ahead of time to make sure I was good to go with that. Abby's got her pink little sleeve so we can identify hers against mine a lot easier, and I've got an urban camo sleeve to go over the goggles. Hey, those look cool. The pink, they just look really cool. It kind of customized how it looks a little bit, and you get those on Hobby King too. All this stuff I got on Hobby King. Now, if you want it simple, just plain and simple, you want FPV goggles that'll work for about $100 or less. Keep in mind, my diversity receiver is about double what a standard receiver would cost. It's going to be maybe $130 to get everything that I showed you. I've got all the links below. Click, 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 add them to the cart, hit buy, and while you're waiting on them to come, you can watch my build video, and then when they come, you can rewatch the build video here at the end and check out how super easy it is to actually put this thing together. So I'm going to get everything laid out, move little Popeye here, and we'll show you everything that comes inside these boxes and then start putting it together. It's very, very easy to do, I promise. If I can do this, anybody in the world that's interested in this hobby can do this. So let's get to it. I just wanted to show you everything that comes in the box. We're only going to be using a small portion of this to actually build it. You only need one of the lenses. You don't even have to have a lens, but it looks a lot better with one. But you can also put the lenses back to back for different magnification. So we're setting a couple of those aside. A ton of the wires we're setting aside. We only need one of the wire harnesses that comes with this to make it work with the batteries that I'm showing you. So we're going to take all these wires away. The little display comes with an AV cable plugged into it. I'm going to be using this little wire that has the power here, and then it goes right into this little 3 split on this end. It plugs right into your monitor. These wires will plug into your receiver, and I'll show you how as we do the build. So now we've already cut down quite a bit on the stuff. The instructions are great, they do a great job, but I want to take you through how to build this myself. So we'll set that aside. We also don't need all these antennas. We're not going to use these for our build because we have our circular polarized antennas. And then you've got some extra foam in here that is used for if you want to use your cell phone as a monitor instead of this, you can do that, and you use this to modify that for viewing. Set that aside, and now we're down to some pretty basic stuff. The foam is going to be for padding around this viewing plate, just to help make it more comfortable. So we'll set that aside for now, and let's look at what we have. The sleeve, this little casing, and the receiver. I mean, we're really down to the basics. We just have one wire. So this is a very easy build, like I said. I'll be dry fitting everything in this video, just so that I can go back and glue it later when I'm off the video, and it won't take quite as long, but I will show you guys exactly where to glue things as I go. So let's get this thing put together. You've got these 4 little foam pieces that are pretty important to the adjusting length of this whole setup. You put these with glue in the slots here on your viewing plate right there. So you can adjust the lens back and forth when you do that, and the foam helps hold that in place. So you need some glue there to hold those in place, and then if you turn this upside down, you put your last two pieces here with some glue to hold that in place. While your glue is drying, I use hot glue, you can piece together this little display. You've got 4 little pieces for the bracket, the mounting bracket for your lens. And I'm going to go ahead and take out, I'm using the 1.25 magnifying lens, but you can use whatever combination or single lens you like. I just enjoy this one so far. I haven't even tried all the different combinations yet. And I believe the flat part of the lens goes facing you and the curved part goes back, but if you combine them, I think they face each other. The nice thing about this is that the back piece, you sit this right in there. It lays right in, and you know you've got it right because there are little tabs that go in the little slots of the lens. Then your little side panels, you may want to do this before you lay your lens in, they just pop right in. Super easy, no glue required, they stay in really well. So let me fit mine in there. And then your front piece has the little tabs that are coming off of it. They lay right over this. I'm just trying to be careful not to smudge my lens because don't want to have to clean it after this. And everything just snaps right in place. Go around, kind of apply pressure all the way around the border, make sure everything is snapped in, and now you've got a really nice little viewing magnifying lens for your goggles. This, after your glue has dried, will sit right on this foam just freely because you'll want to be able to adjust it, and then your top piece is going to lay on that. Before we do that though, we want to just place the monitor. Let's see. If you're curious about which way is up and down, there is a menu button on the back, and so you can read that to tell you, up and down, but your wire comes out the bottom of that. And I'm going to go ahead and pull off the protective layer there. So now you're good to go,
I've
Abby.
never seen you do that.
Well, these you can't get in there and take that off once it's in, so. Alright, so this just slides right into the foam. It stays in. You can glue it if you want to, but there's really no need to. And I haven't glued mine, but yours should be glued. This will just sit right on top. I would line up the monitor first, slide it down on there, and then what I would recommend is to not glue around the seam because you'll want to be able to get in there and change your lenses out later. I recommend if you want to block out every little bit of light, take some black electrical tape and go along the edges, and that'll hold your plate in. You don't even have to do that though, because your sleeve will hold all that stuff in place. But if you really want a super tight snug fit, you can take some black electrical tape, run along that, and it'll block out every aspect of light. Now let's open the sleeve here. We're going to use the pink one for Abby because these are her goggles instead of the red one that comes with it. It looks like this comes with extra foam, which is nice. So if you ran out of foam from your sleeve that came with it, you've got extra there. Oh, that looks good, Abby. That's nice, bright pink. That's really good looking.
Hot pink.
Yeah. Okay, this is going to be a little hard because I don't have mine taped together, but what I'm going to do is take my wire through the front, just let that run through, and then just kind of work the sleeve over this set of goggles here. Okay. That was really, really easy. It's already fit in place now. Our one and only wire is coming off of this. What we're going to do is take our Quantum receiver, and I found that it fit pretty well in the back here. It's nice and snug. It holds it in place. It gives me access to my button. And you've got 3 ports on the bottom. You have 2 video outs and you have a power. So we want to plug in the video out from the monitor, just this single little guy.
Will you hold that up?
Uh-huh.
You're fast. That one.
That guy. Over to either one of these. I'm just going to plug it into the first port. The reason it has a second one is if you'd like to have a ground station or a second pair of goggles watching the flight. You can, you know, plug that in. More people can watch. That's pretty cool. And then the others, we've got a split here. Two bits of power and one for the battery itself. So the smaller one of these two, we're going to plug into the power of the receiver. Now let me grab one of my batteries. I think I've got one charged here, and I'll put it in this is how you do this if you're going to go out and fly. So I put the battery in the back plate, or the back pouch there, and then this cord you'll just kind of plug in. So I'm going to take the power cord and go through this. It's on the side of the head strap, just a little elastic strap. You take the power cord and run that through, and that cleans that up. And then there's just a little extra slack. You could take that under here or zip tie it, and that'll just clean up the look a lot more by tucking that underneath. So we're going to plug in the battery after we put our antennas on. Now you can't really burn this up as a receiver, but if this were a video transmitter and you gave it power, you could burn it up. So it's good practice. There's no reason not to. Go ahead and put your antennas on.
Now those are not the correct antennas, right?
That's correct. We need the blue ones, the nail pin inside. These are incorrect. That's right, Abby.
So when you see us flying later, they'll be blue.
That's right. These are the antennas that come with it, and there's nothing wrong with using those. They'll get you in the air, no problem. We're just using a nice combination to get us probably some better experience, better flight experience. This little guy's $14, by the way, on Hobby King. This is a directional antenna, a patch antenna is. So this is, if you're flying kind of in front of you, you'd want that to be facing like that in front, and then your circular polarized antenna gives you a stronger signal around you. So if you're flying in behind you a bit, then that's what that's for. So we've got our antennas on, the last step, and it gets so easy, so easy. This whole process, I mean, I'm not fast forwarding any of this or anything, just plug the power in. Now one thing I've noticed when you get the new one and you're using this battery setup is this beeping. And that is a low voltage beep. It's very easy to turn this off. It took me a while to figure it out, but thanks to a friend, it was extremely easy to do. Had some help. This red button also is a directional button. So not only can you press it down, but you can press it up, down, and left and right to access your menu options. So to get rid of this beeping, which is a low voltage alarm, because it comes set up for a 3-cell battery, is you press and hold the button, and just for a few seconds, and you get a different menu that pops up. You just press down until you get to the next option, which is the last one. You hit that guy, and then you go to battery min, which is the minimum voltage before the alarm would go off. And I'm going to drop that all the way down to 6 volts. So I just keep pressing left until I hit 6 volts. See, it's already stopped because my battery is above that. And now I go down all the way to the bottom and hit exit and press down. Now, you're ready to go. You press the big red button, it'll find whatever signal your quad is on, and it's super easy, super awesome. Yeah, you saw me do it. That's the fastest thing I've ever built in this hobby that works. And all I have to do now is just add some foam to make this more comfortable for Abby.
And you gotta glue it for real.
And glue it for real, but that only takes, 5 minutes. So I love this setup. All this stuff is on Hobby King. Everything that I used in my setup is in the description box below. I'm not saying it's the best or the farthest range or the most expensive. It's an affordable, awesome way that works extremely well to get FPV in the air, even for people that wear giant glasses. It fits right over those glasses, and
That looks nice on you, Nathan.
it's just awesome.
Maybe you should keep those.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I can't wait to get these in the air. We'll see you in the next video.
Well, those aren't gonna get in the air.
Why?
Because those are goggles.
Well, I could throw them, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
Bye!